Hello vinyl community, Mike from Mike Guitar Player 07 here, coming at you live with another vinyl record video. And today is all about you guys and thanks to you guys, because you guys are great. You guys have been sending me some VCLT packages, and now I want to thank you guys for them and show off what I got. Now, unfortunately, recently I've backed up my phone to my computer to like videos and photos and other miscellaneous data that I do halfway through the year and then at the end of the year. I back up my phone twice a year. And for whatever reason, all the video footage from the VCLTs when I first got them in got wiped. I don't know if they were lost in transition, if the video files got corrupted, or if I just plain accidentally deleted them. However, they're no longer here. The file is in my iMovie on my phone, but it says it's trying to get the files from iCloud, never successfully recovered them. So, unfortunately, for all of these VCLTs except for one, I do not have video footage for. The other one is one I just received in the mail today that I will be opening on camera after I redo and show off everything else that I've gotten within the past week and a half. So, excuse me. Without further ado, as I said, I apologize for not being able to show my initial reaction, but I'll try to reenact and show my appreciation the exact same way I did on the camera when I first received them. So the first VCLT I got was from Marican Lehman, and she sent me 2 records. She sent me a message saying what Willie Nelson albums are you looking for, because she saw my Willie Nelson showcase and wanted to help me get some more. So I sent her a text message, told her what I was looking for, and she sent me Yesterday's Wine, which has the popular song Yesterday's Wine. It also has a song Family Bible on it, and I'm not sure if I know anything else by name, but I look forward very much so to listening to these. I haven't gotten a chance to listen to any of these except for one of them yet, so I can't really talk too much about the albums. But and this is Phases and Stages by Willie Nelson. And the thing about this one isn't that Willie Nelson video I did. Someone recommended me this album. They said it's a concept album about love and divorce and all that. And I was like, all right, sign me up. So then when Marican asked me what I was looking for, I told her this, and well, she hooked me up. And you'll find a lot more country and Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash and all that stuff in Kentucky than you will in New Jersey. And Marican also put a nice note in here that says, "Hey Mike, here's some Willie for you for your growing collection. I hope you enjoy both of these albums. I'm still keeping an eye out for a few other records for you. Enjoy, Marican." And I'm very much so appreciative of this. And since this is after my unboxing, I could show you guys this. I think I might have talked about this in the past, but if I haven't, on the bottom of the notes, I always put the date I received them and what records were sent with the package, because I always want to remember what I got. The other day, I bought a bunch of internal sleeves for my records, 300 of them, which is nowhere near enough for my entire collection, but it's a start, because I want to start putting them in I have most of my collection in the outer sleeves, and I want to start getting them in the inner sleeves. And some of these records I've had since 7th grade, didn't know anything about cleaning records and all this stuff, so they need it. But yeah, I was going through some of them. I just discovered Cheap Trick's self-titled album for the first time in a while. And as we all know, Emma from 8 Line Low is the VC's resident Cheap Trick connoisseur. And she sent that my way. And I had the note in it, reread it. I've had that album for almost a year now. And it just made me smile, and I enjoy it. So I do truly enjoy looking back at these albums when I, and the notes when I do listen to the albums. I do reread them and all that. Alright, so the second package I received was from Rachel over at Rachel's Records. And now, see, she sent me a message asking me if I had a specific George Harrison album, and I told her I had not, because I'm still looking for most of his discography, pretty much of his solo works. And so she said, okay, I'm going to send you this and maybe another one or two. And I know that she was cleaning out or sizing down her record collection, so I was like, ooh, what's going to be in there with me? So I got the album I knew I was going to be getting. So this is George Harrison's Cloud 9. This has a big hit, I Got My Mind Set on You, which is probably one of his biggest hits next to things like My Sweet Lord and Isn't It a Pity and all that. So this is fantastic. This is from 1987. This is on the Dark Horse label. This is one of them I've gotten to clean but not listened to yet. Actually, I've cleaned all of these except for the one I received today. So that's on the Dark Horse label. which is really cool. And I did not know this. On the inner sleeve, it says that Jeff Lane, Eric Clapton, and Elton John are on this album, which I had not realized. I've only heard this album 1 or 2 other times, so I'm not super familiar, rather than with this song, I Got My Mind Set on You. So I look forward to listening to this, because next to All Things Must Pass, this is his second most acclaimed album, pretty much. Most people either love it or hate it, and it's all because of I Got My Mind Set on You, because of how much people hear it, but I remember enjoying it, but I'm glad to delve deeper into it, because we know how much I enjoy George Harrison and the Beatles, and I'm diving deep. On top of that, Rachel also sent the Broadway soundtrack to West Side Story, which is really exciting. This is the Columbia Treasury of the American Musical Theater edition, so I don't know how much of a difference between this and the original soundtrack is. But yeah, it's fantastic. This is one of them I've gotten to listen to. For whatever reason, I didn't put it in an inner sleeve, but I need to fix that now. But it's cool. It shows a bunch of other Broadway soundtracks that are on here. Chorus Line is one I've been on the lookout for. Have it on CD, but need it on vinyl. And it's on the Masterworks label by CBS-Columbia. And, you know, this is the only one I've gotten the chance to listen to since I've gotten all these VCLTs so far. And, you know, I haven't heard the soundtrack since late middle school, early high school. My mom had a copy of this soundtrack. I had a different version of the soundtrack. So I have 3 versions of the soundtrack now, and I'm not sure what the differences are, so I'm very interested to compare them, but I love it. This is one of my favorite soundtracks. Leonard Bernstein can really do no wrong. The Jet song is funny because the first time I heard Alice Cooper's School's Out, I heard the Jet song. I was like, excuse me. Alice Cooper did a cover of the Jets from West Side Story, the Jet song. It's wild, but, you know, you have the popular stuff like Maria, Tonight, America, Somewhere, G Officer Krupke. Those are pretty much the highlights rather than a Jets song. But, man, it's so cool. And America has a very unique time signature that goes dun da 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 da, which, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't seen the actual sheet music, but some music that has that like kind of melody and rhythmic pattern has like 2 time signatures on them. It's like the 1 time signature, and then it has plus, and then the other time signature on the sheet music, which implies that every other measure, it's the time signature alternates, which is kind of cool. But that's what I presume is happening in the case with that. And let's read Rachel's note. So Rachel writes, "Hi Mike, I hope you are doing well and staying safe. Today I'm sending you George Harrison's Cloud 9. I believe it is one of his best albums, and I think you will enjoy it. I also am sending you West Side Story. It is my favorite musical, and I think you'll enjoy it too. Take care, your friend Rachel." And that's very nice. And as I said, I'm very appreciative of this. I just feel so bad that the original footage was lost. But yeah, I did not know that West Side Story was your favorite one, Rachel. But man, is it a good one. I remember in a Spanish class in middle school, we always would watch that like once a year. So it was good. All right, so the next VCLT I received was from our good friend from Nashville, Randy Weaver. So it's very interesting how this VCLT came to be. And I must say, this is one of them I was most disappointed about not having a footage, because Randy really wowed me with this. I had such a great reaction, really, because I was not expecting this, and this was beyond what I expected. Because it came in a big box, and I was only expecting like 2 CDs. So, but we'll get there. So pretty much how this VCLT from Randy came to be is, I asked Rod the Happy Hippie and Randy Weaver, since they're some of the biggest Grateful Dead fans in the VC, and I've been trying to get more into live albums, not just with Grateful Dead, but in general. I have Jenna over at Spins and Needles to thank for my more appreciation of that, on top of Dylan from the Record Spinner. But I've been trying to get more live albums, so I asked them, what are the Grateful Dead's best live albums? Because of all the artists I have live albums for, Grateful Dead is probably the one I have the most, and they're of the official releases. And I just wanted more. So, because every show is unique in its own way, and even if it sounds pretty much the same, there's always slight variance. There are some Deadheads who could hear it and tell you exactly what show it is. I can never do that. Not saying it'll ever not happen, but I don't think I'll ever be to that level. So pretty much, I was asking Randy about him, and then he said he gave me his answers, and then he said, I have these CDs if you're interested. I can't send you, I understand if they're not of interest because they're not vinyl records, but if you want them, they're yours and I could send them your way. Just send me your address. Well, I have just about as many CDs and vinyl records. I have just about an equal amount. There's only a discrepancy of maybe a couple hundred. So Randy told me what he was offering me, and 2 of them I kindly declined because I already had them. If he wants a VCLT to him, I'd rather him go to someone who doesn't already have them like me. But the others I did not have, and I was very excited to get them. So what I was expecting, and he also told me that he had a jazz album for me that I had not owned on vinyl record. No, I own it on vinyl record, but not on CD. So I was excited about that. So first thing he sends would be a Miles Davis Kinda Blue, and this is with an alternate album cover. Let me pull that out, because that's not the original album cover, but this is the Columbia Jazz Masterpieces rendition. And I'm very much so looking forward to how it sounds. I've heard in the early 2000s, they did another reissue of it on Columbia that I've heard that version on CD. I borrowed it from the library, but I have not heard this version, so I'm very excited to check this version out and see how it sounds. I know Original Jazz, OJC, Original Jazz Classics, does good versions, but I don't think I've ever owned a Columbia Jazz Masterpiece, so I'm very curious of how that sounds, but I'm sure it sounds great. This is one of those Grateful Dead live albums that is deemed to be one of the best that I've never heard. Of the 2 main classic Grateful Dead live albums, which is Europe of 72 and Live Dead, I owned Europe of 72 on vinyl record, on digitally, not on CD. That's what I need on CD too. But Live Dead, I've never heard this before, so I look forward to checking this out. And this is early. This is, what year is this? 69. So I think only 2 or 3 of their studio albums came out at this time. Like the Grateful Dead's debut, which is another one that Randy sent me, which I'm very appreciative of. So now that I've talked about it, so that, and I think Anamoxa might have came out at that point, but rather than those 2, and maybe Anthem of the Sun, but I don't think anything else was out. And I'm just pulling that out off the top of my head. I could be wrong about that. But this has Dark Star and Saint Stephen, which are probably the ones that most people would know on this. The other ones I probably know, but just not by name, offhand. The early Grateful Dead, I'm not the best with the titles of the tracks, but I love them and recognize them as soon as I hear them. But, you know, Dark Star was always a staple in the Grateful Dead live sets, so it's always interesting seeing the different variations of that. I just got, for Christmas, the Saint of Circumstance one from, I believe it was May 17th, 1991 at Giant Stadium. I believe that's what it was called. It's one of the new Grateful Dead releases, live albums, and they have like 3 versions of Dark Star. And by 3 versions, I mean 2 false starts to get the crowd all riled up and excited, and then they eventually actually do it the 3rd time. But I digress. Grateful Dead's debut album, of course, this has The Golden Road, Cold Rain and Snow, Mountain Dew, New Minglewood Blues. I mean, this is a fantastic album, and I'm glad to have it now. And obviously, it's their debut. What more can be said? Now, on camera, this is the one that really blew me away that I wish I had on camera. This is a sealed copy of the newest Dave's Picks of Grateful Dead's Dave's Picks Volume 34 at Jai Anali Fronton, Miami, Florida, 6/23/74. This is a 3-disc set, and I've always wanted a Dick's Picks or Dave's Picks. I'm not sure what the difference really is between them 2. I guess just choices of the individual choosing. Randy, I guess you could probably tell me down below. But yeah, this was a sealed one, and all these Dick's Picks and Dave's Picks, after the initial, they usually go for like $34 on CD format, I think, when they're brand new, if I'm not mistaken, around there. But after that, they go upwards in value of like $50 to $100. I usually see these for, even in beaten to crap condition, especially some of the early ones from the late 90s, early 2000s. This is a one from 2020, so I assume this is fairly new, if not the newest. And something I didn't know and I learned on camera when I first recorded this is a limited edition. Out of 22,000 copies made of this, this is 6,746. And this is just fantastic. So I guess the Dave's Picks and the Dick's Picks are just like live shows that they just choose to get released, I assume. I'm not really sure. As I said, Randy, please let me know. But this has a whole bunch of great stuff. This has Mississippi Half Step, Uptown Toodaloo, Jackstraw, which was mainly a live staple, Cumberland Blues, their cover of the Marty Robbins tune El Paso, China Doll, Ship of Fools, Big River, Dark Star Jam. Oh, talking about Dark Star, U.S. Blues, Uncle John's Band, and Casey Jones. And this was 74, so yeah, both Working Men Is Dead and American Beauty were out at this time. Yeah, like, I've always wanted one of these. It's sealed, and this is, I can't wait to put this on, so I thank you, Randy. Yeah, you don't know how much that means to me. And just the kindness, just out of me asking about it, and then you just want to say, it's just great. I can't thank you enough. And he also sent me 2 mixtapes, or a bootleg recordings from the radio, if I'm not mistaken. His note says, and I'll reread the note for you guys so you know what it says. This is Cape Cod Coliseum, October 27th, 1979, 1. And it has just a track listing on it. It's kind of not able to be seen, but it has Jackstraw, Big River, Easy to Love You, Stagler Lee, just to name a couple, Saint of Circumstance. Then this one is Dead to the World. This is April 30th, 1979. And this one has a photo of it. Is there a track listing on the inside? I can't remember. Yes, there is. So, Winning Boy Blues, Train to Willie, This Time Forever, you know, Heaven's Door, Big Boy Pete, all great stuff. I mean, you can't really go wrong with the Grateful Dead. Yeah, they're jammy, they can be repetitive at times, but it's always just a fun time, no matter how much. You know, I don't get sick of it. I just don't. I love it all. But let's read Randy's note. Hey, Mike. Here's the 2 Grateful Dead CDs I told you about, the first album and Live Dead. I also have included a copy of the latest Dave's Picks release. It came out earlier this month, and I got an extra copy. You'll be able to compare the 1969 Dark Horse on Live Dead to the 1974 Dark Horse from Miami. True. I look forward to it. And I'll even compare it to the 91 Saint of Circumstance release from Giant Stadiums I mentioned earlier. I also included a tape of Dead to the World, which I used to record from the radio every Wednesday night. That's very cool. That's so cool. And a tape from the first set from October 27th, 1979 in Cape Cod. This is how we used to collect Grateful Dead music. I only have a couple left. I've given away hundreds. I hope you enjoy these, Randy. P.S. I've listened to the tape before sending the acoustic set from Chicago, and it may be the best thing in this box. Great sound quality on this tape. You hear how much fun the shows were. Yeah, I can't tell you how excited I am. I guess the radio shows just broadcast live recordings that the Grateful Dead did. I know that the Grateful Dead always encouraged live recordings and all that stuff. But as I said, you could let me know below. I'm very interested to hear more about the recordings of that. And again, I have everything written down of what I got, when I got it, the date I received. I can't tell you how excited I am to receive that. That's just so cool. You blew me away with that Dave's Picks one. I'm telling you. You really have no idea. And then the next one that I unfortunately do not have the footage for anymore would be from DJ Trish. And she writes to me, "Hi Mike, well as promised, here are the 2 mixes and some stickers too. I hope you enjoy them both. If you make mixed CDs, I'd like one of yours too. Peace, love, and music, Trish." And of course it has this classic Trish art on it. And we have the classic Trish stickers. And I did put one of my Trish stickers on my guitar amp, so let that be known that whenever I go out publicly with my guitar amp and do a jam at a friend's house or whatever, I'm publicly advertising you, Trish, so. And there are a couple other of us in the VC who DJ on the side too, that we just don't talk about it, me being included and a couple others. But yeah, the DJing is fun, and I would love to see you DJ one day. And you're in my neck of the woods, you live in my state, so, you know, who knows, maybe I'll get to actually see you do what you love. But she sent me 2 mixtapes that she did. The first one is called Global Grooving, which I think I saw her give to another 1 or 2 VC members, and has a track list there, most of which I do not know, I truly will admit, so that's a track listing for you. You could pause it and you could see what it says on there. But the ones I recognize are You Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story and You Will Be in My Heart from Tarzan. I know of Ravi Shankar, but I don't know his stuff by name. And Papa Isu Kumbo. That sounds familiar, that artist, but I could be very wrong. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's really cool. Oh, and it also, on her disc, it says, this I didn't notice in the first recording. Global Grooving, created by DJ Trish, and it gives her website and her YouTube account. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that I didn't notice the first time. Because as I said, I haven't gotten a chance to listen to these yet, but oh boy, I can't tell. I'm excited to. And I love the name of this one, Jamdemic, music to jam to while in a pandemic. I assume is what she's going for, and it's great. And it's a penguin, and the penguin says, time to boogie down. The funny thing is I'm hearing that in Trish's voice, time to boogie down, and that is just fantastic. This one I recognize more tunes from, or artists from. So we got Donald Byrd, Benny Goodman and his orchestra, The Olympians, Gilberto Gil, Harry James Orchestra, Badfinger, Dance, DNCE. They did the song Cake by the Ocean, which is actually the song she included on here. And Dwight Yoakam, some Hank Williams, some Etta James, Flo Rida. So it's definitely a good mix. I'll let you guys see the mix in case you want to pause it and take a look at that. All good stuff. And compared to the other things, Cake by the Ocean by Dance is quite a different tune compared to everything else. So I'm very curious of how it sounds in the mix of everything. I'm sure it sounds fantastic. And then there's that disc, and it has her website and all that again. So thank you, DJ Trish. DJ Trish, on my Retrospin Vinyl Instagram account, she always shows up. She always watches most of the show, if not all of it, when I go live. And she is always supportive. And one day I just said, how's like the mixtapes going? I'd love to hear one of your mixtapes one day. And then she just said, well, send me your address and I'll send you one, which I was very appreciative of, and she was very kind to do that. So thank you, Trish. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Rachel. And thank you, Marikan. All your VCLTs are very much so appreciated, and I thank each and every single one of you. As I said again, I feel really bad that I lost the original footage. I truly don't know what happened, but you guys still deserve the recognition, so I re-recorded it for you guys. Now, this came in the mail today. Technically yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to record until today. This is from Emma over at 8 Vinyl Low, and this is a thick one. The past couple months, me and Emma have been talking back and forth about some things that she had that she might want to send me, and I assume that some of those things are in here plus, so I'm not sure exactly what's in here, but I look forward to checking it out. So let's see. Okay. So we got a stiffener, nice. Ooh, okay. Eric Clapton, 461 Ocean Boulevard. Fantastic. I used to have this album. And when I was trying to get more jazz albums, I kind of blew it off to the side. This is one of my two favorite Eric Clapton albums, and at the time I had overdone it, and I didn't really want to ever hear it again. I have the CD still, but I got rid of this, so wow, this is fantastic. And this is a gatefold, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is. So there's that. And of course, this has I Shot the Sheriff and Willie and the Hand Jive. Those were the biggest hits from this, but this is just a fantastic album all around, and you know, I haven't heard this in a while, so I can't wait to give this a spin. I'm going to put that away later. I won't fuddle with it now, but yeah. And Eric Clapton I'm trying to get more into because I just need to get more into his works. I think I might have opened this upside down because I see Patty on the other side of this too. I'm not sure if I opened this the right way, but that's okay. Let's see, what's this? Delaney, Bonnie, and Friends on Tour with Eric Clapton. Ooh. Delaney, Bonnie, and Friends on Tour with Eric Clapton. Cool. Let's see, what's on here that well, this came out in 1970. Let's see. I don't recognize any of the songs on here, even though they do have a little Richard medley, which is kind of cool, which features things like Long Tall Sally, Tutti Frutti, and all that. I assume this is more kind of British blues realm of stuff. It's on the Yellow At Go label. I've definitely seen this before, but I don't know anything about it, so that's very exciting. I assume there's a note in here, and I look forward to maybe Emma will explain it to me. Let's see what's next. Foreigner's Double Vision. Nice. Again, when I was trying to get jazz albums, Foreigner, all my Foreigner records except for one of them went. My grandfather had 4 on vinyl record. I'm not getting rid of any of my grandfather's records, but in my collection, all of the ones that I owned and I purchased, I only had on CD, and this was one of them that I got rid of when I was, as I said, getting jazz, and, well, it's back. Double Vision. This has Hot Blooded on it. Double Vision. What else was on here? Love Has Taken Its Toll. You know, this entire album is great. There's not a single bad. Foreigner really didn't put out a bad album. Of course, some are better than others, but they didn't put a bad album out. I love their Silver Atlantic label. It's very nice. Some of their albums have the orange and green label, and then others have this. So, very nice. Double Vision. Oh, I can't wait to spin that. I can't. Even having the CD version, and I haven't listened to that album in over a year, and I don't know when the last time I heard that album was, or rather than the hits off the album, so I can't wait to hear that. Oh, look at that. ABBA's The Album. Again, Emma, you've been on my Discogs want list. Because I got rid of a whole bunch of these albums that I just haven't talked about, just had them on CD, because I, yet again, wanted to get jazz, and this is ABBA's The Album. This has a Take a Chance on Me and the Eagle, and there's one other. Oh no, those were the only hits off this. But yeah. The Name of the Game, that was another big one. Yeah, this is, you know, ABBA, this is a flawless ABBA album. This and their album Arrival, perfect. I mean, I really haven't heard a bad ABBA album either, but, you know, and look how cool that album cover is. I mean, if that doesn't scream 70s, I don't know what does. And this is a club pressing, actually. The label has CRC on it, so that's cool. But yeah, I haven't heard this in a while. I just spun Arrival for the first time in I don't know how long, so ABBA is the spring, summertime kind of music for me, so I'm excited again. All right, another stiffener. Oh, wow. Look at that. Okay, so this is one of, okay, so these are some of them that me and Emma had talked about that I assumed I was getting. Okay, so this is Oklahoma by Rodgers and Hammerstein. One of those great classical or classic Broadway albums, and it's on Angel. I did not know Angel did anything else but classical music, but apparently they redid some Broadway stuff, and they also did the same thing with Rodgers and Hammerstein's soundtrack to Carousel. I just VCLT'd Carousel on vinyl record to another fellow VC member, and I love the album, but I wasn't listening to a whole heck of a lot, but now I have it on cassette, which is fantastic. In Oklahoma, I have the original Broadway cast recording somewhere, and this is the movie version, so I look forward to that. Very cool. And Rodgers and Hammerstein's Oklahoma is fantastic. Old Jeb is Dead is the only song that kind of drives me nuts off that soundtrack, but very cool. And then Gordon Lightfoot's Chords Gold Volume 2. I have Volume 1 on CD, vinyl record, and cassette, but I've never heard Chords Gold Volume 2, so that's very exciting. What's on this one? We have High and Dry, a wreck of the Wreck of the Edmonds Fitzgerald, Cherokee Bend, Triangle Shadows, Baby Step Back. All great stuff. Gordon Lightfoot really didn't put out any bad tunes. I keep saying that a lot, but it's true. That one's kind of a darker album cover. Let me pull that out. Let's see if you can see that a little better now. But yeah, Gordon Lightfoot. And that one so those were the ones I was expecting. Ah, look at that. Iggy and the Stooges, Raw Power. So I assume Iggy Pop. Oh yes, produced by Iggy Pop. Okay, cool. Executive producer for the reissue is Bruce Dickinson. Oh, wow. Bruce Dickinson, for those who don't know, was the lead singer for Iron Maiden from their Number the Beast third album forward, with the exception of 2 albums from the 90s, The X Factor and Virtual something or another. But other than that, Bruce Dickinson was the vocalist from 1983, I want to say, was when Number the Beast came out forward. Yeah, he wasn't on the first 2 albums, but anyway. I digress. Iggy Pop and the Stooges. Yeah, I've never listened to Iggy Pop and the Stooges. I've never listened to that kind of stuff. So I'm very curious to hear this. I've always heard great stuff about it. Iggy Pop is just something I've never heard of, and the Stooges I never listened to. So this is originally from 1973, but this is a 1979 or 1997 reissue. That's a very shiny CD. Then I guess it has in the CD tray a photo of the band there. Very cool. Nice. And it says on the hype sticker here that it was remixed by Iggy Pop. So I guess they changed the mix a little bit for this release. But cool, I look forward to that. I've never listened to them, as I said, so that's really cool. Let's see this. So this is Cheap Trick, I Want You to Want Me. Okay, very cool. So Emma said that she made something. So I think this is the one that she made for me. Oh. Okay, I see what Emma's done. So she has the in-color studio version, the live at Budokan version of this song, an early studio version of this, the Steve Albini in-color sessions, the Steve Albini in-color sessions alternate, a Sirius XM Classic Rewind from 2016 rendition, and the 2016 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame version. Cool. So, for those of you who don't know, obviously me and Emma and the youngest people in the VC are talking on a pretty much daily basis, and I always say how I prefer the live version over the studio version. In fact, I'm a little bit more extreme when I say that the studio version sucks. It's not the worst thing ever, but compared to the live version, it does, in my opinion. But it's kind of a running gag between me and Emma, and now I have this very cool I Want You to Want Me, and I'm actually curious to hear all these alternate versions, because I know the studio and the Budokan version, but the other ones are very going to be cool to hear, so yeah, cool. But yeah, that's why I'm laughing hysterically over that, because that's just funny. Oh, and look at that. It says that this is only at Walmart, so this is a Walmart version of this album. This is AC/DC's Black Ice, which came out in 2008. This is one of the 2 AC/DC albums I remember coming out. Studio albums. I mean, there's Iron Man 2, but that doesn't count. Yeah, this is a fantastic album. There's 3 album cover variants of this. One with a red, one with yellow lettering, and one with blue lettering. And if I'm not mistaken, I have the yellow one. I definitely don't have this one. I don't have the red variant, so that's very cool. I'm very excited to have that, because the album cover variants are cool. I'll have to, you know what? Let me go pull that version out. Because it's right here, so I know exactly where it is, yeah. The yellow variant is one I had, so. And this one's sealed, so that's pretty cool. I've actually never seen the red one in person. I've only seen the yellow and the blue one in person, so that's fantastic. This is the original one I owned from back in the day, and now I have the one with the traditional AC/DC logo, actually, so. And this one says it's only at Walmart, so I assume the red version is a Walmart exclusive. I'm not really sure. There was a time where I remembered what variant was what, but I no longer remember. All right, I assume there's a note in here. Let me see. Spoilers, yes. So I opened the box upside down pretty much, but that's okay. Let's get the note out of here, and it says spoilers. So, hey Mike, here's some goodies for you. I know that you already know about some of these, but I wanted to throw in a couple of surprises as well. Enjoy the cassettes. They're part of a haul I picked up a few months back. I know how much you enjoy Broadway classics and Gordon Lightfoot. These belong with you. Thank you. Enjoy the CDs. I know that you mentioned you wanted to get into Iggy and the Stooges. Let me know what you think about Raw Power. The I Want You to Want Me mixtape needs no explanations. Yeah. You're so right. Yeah, I definitely have been wanting to check out that. I want to check out the Stooges debut and Funhouse. I believe it's called Funhouse. I want to check out those one day too. Enjoy the LPs. I pulled the Foreigner and ABBA from your Discogs want list. I also threw in my favorite Clapton, since you've been wanting to explore his catalog, and an awesome collab that he does with Deli and Bonnie and friends. Thank you for the friendship. Peace, Emma 8 Vinyl Low. Yes, I definitely love that Clapton album. As I said, I've had it before, but got rid of it, and I should not have. And, well, it is what it is. So, and I knew that you found a Foreigner and ABBA on my want list, because I've never discussed this before. Yeah, very cool. And I think I already said that, but it says spoilers on the back there. So thank you very much, Emma. Once again, thank you to Marikin, Rachel, Randy, and Trish as well. I don't think I missed anybody, right? Marikin, Rachel, Randy, Trish, Emma. Yeah, nope, I didn't miss anybody. Cool. Thank you very much, guys. Y'all are appreciated. This is probably the longest VCLT video that's out there. Thank you guys for watching. Keep on spinning that wax, and I'll see you in the next vinyl record video.